Hello everyone. This talk is about the 8 things I wish I knew before. And these 8 points can be useful to aspiring students who want to be a tester. It can be useful to freshers and few points can be used for the experienced professionals too. I also have a bonus tip, so stay tuned till the end. So before going into the talk, this is a content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this talk are purely based on my experience. So let's get started. The first thing is ask questions. I joined as a fresher in a team where the average work experience was around 8 years. During my initial days, I used to hesitate like, what if my question is very naive and insensible? And it happened like in one of the town hall meeting that I first attended. A senior person in my organization asked the exact same question that I had in my mind too. That day I realized one thing. No question is wrong or very basic. If you have a doubt, then just shoot it away and get it clarified no matter what your experience is. The second thing is be adaptable. In my organization, we had an internal transformation due to which we were moved across teams and the entire mode of operation was completely changed. Also, when I joined initially, we were using SNMP and later on we evolved to NetConfig. Such changes on the tech front or on the operational level is always constant. Hence, have an open mindset and be ready to explore the unknown. The third thing is break the box. Most common advice that is given to a tester is be like a customer, think like a customer. And especially if you are a fresher, you might be finding it a tad bit hard to relate it. You might be wondering how to think like a customer. In such situations, assume that you are a kid and think in what ways you can break the box or code that is given to you. Try out various combinations, mix up test steps from different test cases. And there, Viola, now you have started using the device as a customer. The fourth thing is meet with the dev often. Never miss meetings or sessions with the developers. Any kind of feature related meeting or demo sessions or DFME discussions, which is nothing but the design failure mode and effect analysis, where you will be identifying the noise factors, control factors that is affecting your device, as a result of which the unintended and intended results that can be identified. Such sessions and discussions will help you understand the product better, and when you understand the product better, then there will be better testing too. The fifth thing is make a problem journal. Whenever you face a problem or you make a mistake while testing, make a note of it. Make use of this journal during innovation contest. I was able to come up with some 10 plus ideas during an ideathon contest in my organization, and all these ideas were based on this problem journal that I had it with me. Though not all ideas were selected, still two of them were selected by the panelists. And for example, the one of the idea was the STC ports availability. For our testing, we use this STC ports, which is nothing but the Spirent test center for sending traffic. And the problem that we were facing is, in order to check the availability of an STC port, we have to open the STC software, check for the unused ports in the ports reservation column. But we should also know the STC versions of the port in order to check its availability. And it was a bit time consuming and not user friendly. So what we created is a simple tool which fetches the port availability from the STC. For that, the user should give the STC ports that they are going to use and the STC chassis IP address that they are going to use it. So this one was based on my personal experience and the problem journal that I had. So if you also create a problem journal, then always look at it for ideas. If you can fix it with some small solution, then bingo, you have created something new. The sixth thing is document your testing. In one of the release runs, I didn't take a document my testing, whichever that I was trying. And what happened is, suddenly out of nowhere there was an issue. but we were not able to figure out whether this issue was present in the build that I was testing. So on that day, I realized one thing, that no matter what, you should always have a habit of taking a snapshot of what you're testing. And this is a very must thing for all the testers. The seventh thing is draw. Take a paper and draw how your product functions. Visualization always helps in understanding the system or product better. You need not be a Picasso or an artist. All you just need is a flowchart or any simple diagram made up of circles and lines, and if you can understand it, then it is more than sufficient. And as I already said, better understanding always leads to better testing. And the last thing is, you are enough. Always remember, you are hired because you added value in a way others couldn't. And if you stop expressing your opinion due to fear of judgment, then you're not doing your job. So be open to learn from your peers and colleagues. Share your ideas with them and grow with them. Now we have come to the bonus tip. Remember, you can use your testing and debugging skills to your real life as well. And let me share one such incident that happened with me recently. My phone was not getting charged. There was no issue on the mobile. I physically observed there was no bulges or port damage. So I took my sister's phone charger and my phone was getting charged. Now I was able to identify that my charger was faulty, but I wanted to know whether my adapter was faulty or the USB cable that was faulty. So I installed an app called Ampere from the Play Store, which will help you identify the current levels in your mobile net. Generally, you will need 1 ampere current in order to get your phone charged. So I took this combination like adapter of mine and USB that was in good condition. And the current level that was received was around 1.1 amperes. Now I was able to narrow down that my adapter was in good condition. But still, to reconfirm, I took the adapter that was in good condition and my USB cable and checked the current levels. The current was not sufficient, so I was pretty sure that the USB cable was faulty. Instead of ordering an entire charger, I just ordered a USB cable on online. Though I saved a bit, still it's fun to use your professional skills to your day-to-day life. And that's it. I wish you all happy testing and thank you so much for listening to my talk.